The senior politicians were lured to a luxury Mayfair office where they were secretly filmed discussing being paid for telling Chinese tycoons how to make money out of Britain leaving the European Union. Those targeted were ex-Health Secretary Andrew Lansley, former Chief Whip Andrew Mitchell, and ex-Trade Secretary Peter Lilley. All three last night denied wrongdoing.Lord Lansley, who is undergoing treatment for cancer, said he had referred himself to the parliamentary anti-sleaze watchdog and expected his name to be cleared. Mr. Lilley said, "It was a tawdry attempt at entrapment and I did nothing improper whatsoever. I thought it might be a sting from the beginning. They said they had a budget of £18,000, but I told them I was already on the advisory board of a Chinese company, that I was comfortably off, and I did not pursue the matter." Mr. Mitchell claimed he was totally innocent and had been the victim of attempted entrapment. Producers say their expose would show how former cabinet ministers are offering themselves to private companies as Brexit advisors. The trio were lured to Mayfair, where they were greeted by a Chinese woman.She gave her name as Fei Liu and claimed to represent Chinese millionaires. They were offered a highly attractive remuneration package and an all-expenses-paid trip to Hong Kong in return for attending 4 London meetings a year. The money was to help navigate the shifting political, regulatory and legislative frameworks in the UK and across Europe after Brexit, they were told. Mr. Mitchell described how Miss Liu told him that she wanted to use his knowledge to make money out of Brexit. However, Channel 4 and Mr. Mitchell disagree over what happened. Both agree he said he charged £6,000 a day to do non-political work, would consider doing 5 or 6 days' work a year for Tianfen, but would do no lobbying because it was against Commons rules. It is also claimed that Mr. Mitchell said he would be available at any time to Tianfen, including Christmas, but had failed to offer the same instant service to a voter in his Sutton Coldfield constituency. They said the voter had been forced to wait 3 weeks for a 10-minute meeting over the business climate. However, the MP has offered a very different version of events. He said he realized within minutes of his meeting with Miss Liu that her approach was bogus. He also sought the help of British authorities, believed to be MI5, who later told him they had confirmed he had been targeted by a bogus organization. But since it was not a foreign power, nor a threat to British security, they could not help him further. 2 months after the initial approach, Mr. Mitchell received another email from Miss Liu informing him that the Tianfen offer had been dropped. He fired off an angry reply, accusing her of a flagrant and dishonest attempt to entrap an MP and threatened to call police. He also made a formal protest of China's ambassador in London, Liu Xiaoming, who said he shared Mr. Mitchell's concern about the ill-intended move of Tianfen Consulting and hoped it would not undermine Anglo-Chinese relations. He was backed by Sutton Coldfield Conservative Chairman Ewan Mackey, who said, "We think it is a good thing that Andrew has had a foot in the business community when he has not been a minister. He is a highly respected and effective MP." Meanwhile, a friend of Lord Lansley said that the peer had been undergoing chemotherapy for cancer at the time of the sting. His spokesman said, "Lord Lansley made clear at all times that any work he carries out has to comply with the House of Lords Code of Conduct." Most voters did not want their MPs taking on second jobs, they want them to concentrate on the public interest, said Sir Alistair. "It was clear to me within minutes of arriving at the meeting in St. James in Mayfair on October 25 that I was the target of a sting." A couple of weeks earlier, I received an email from a woman calling herself Fei Liu purporting to represent Chinese investors via a Hong Kong-based consultancy, seeking advice from those with experience of the financial services sector. I believe that would result in a Commons with less knowledge of the real world. As it happens, my local Conservative association shares that view. On the face of it, the approach from Fei on behalf of Tianfen Consulting was plausible. "I have business experience in Hong Kong. But something didn't ring true. Shortly after our meeting, I surmised that it was a stunt because when I was asked how much I expected per day and I told them how much, I was told they would pay far more. My suspicions were confirmed. No business offers to pay more than someone asks for." Fei claimed to represent a company run by her grandfather and suggested I met him when he visited London in December. I went along with it, but only to get to the bottom of what was going on. Of course, the grandfather never came because, like the fake company, he didn't exist. With all the talk of state meddling in Britain by Russia and possibly China and others with ill intent, I resolved to launch my own investigation. I got a friend in Hong Kong to visit the address given to me for Tianfen Consulting. My friend's verdict was decidedly dodgy. I contacted someone I know in what I will call the British authorities and said I was worried I was the target of an attempted entrapment. They eventually came back to me and said I was right, but it was not a foreign power, so they had no further interest. I told her a flagrant and dishonest attempt had been made to entrap me, and if it happened again I would inform police. Last week I learned for certain it was indeed a media stunt. The media is entitled to investigate MPs, but not misled. In Fei's initial approach to me, there was a fleeting reference to Brexit. Now I see why. Channel 4 tell me they will not broadcast secret film of my meeting at St. James with Fei. With good reason. If they did, it would be clear I acted properly throughout. Much better to use a few carefully chosen quotes from the meeting to smear me. With similar artfulness, I am accused of failing to respond to a constituent who sought my advice at Christmas. In fact, the individual contacted my office on Friday, December 22. I had given my staff the day off for Christmas shopping while I visited a local hospital, post office, police and fire station to thank them for all their hard work.